Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a gameplay commentary of the bolt gun build that I released just prior. I've had a couple of comments asking for some commentary just to break down my thought processes and all that type of stuff, so I figured I'd use this just before I go into the actual gameplay as well and just critique myself just to help other people improve. I just want to quickly talk about some channel updates. I'm not a part of the content creator program, so I don't have early access to any Arbiter content. I'll be getting it at the same time as you guys. I do have some theory crafted builds that I want to go through. I've got a couple of grenade shenanigans that I want to try out, including the portable smite grenade or whatever the fuck that is. I do want to try out some dog builds and just go from there, just have some fun with it, experiment. And as soon as I'm happy with something, I'll put some builds out. But you'll definitely be seeing some grenade arbiter as well as some dog arbiter content. I won't leave veteran, I'll still be playing veteran. I do have a melee veteran build on the way before I do any arbiter content. Just something different. I also do think melee vet is peak vet in HAVOC. It keeps up with Ogren damage numbers, and anything that keeps up with Ogren at the moment is pretty fucking good. So I'll release a build and just a gameplay how to play the build. It's pretty simple logic. In terms of like dealing with ranged elites and specials, you'll typically take survivalist, you shoot the specials, elites, whatever, and you get survivalist return, you pick up ammo, and that's how you deal with it. You also see, depending on what region you go, especially in Ocean Asia, you'll see a lot of smokes. You'll see a lot of frags in NA, not too sure about Europe, but I think I see a lot more frags there too. It just depends on the region. The alternate logic with Grenade Vet is you use your smokes to deal with the ranged enemies, which will stagger and suppress them, making them reposition, run around in circles, and you're using that time to close the distance and basically forcing enemies to come into melee. That's how melee vet works, rather than shooting everything, and you will have to shoot at some points, but it uses smokes instead of survivalist as a resource to deal with ranged enemies. Anywho's, let me move this water out of the way. Anywho's, going back into my critique of my own stuff. In terms of positioning with veteran on your standard veteran build, so unlike grenade veteran, which is something completely different, you play it differently. You want to be slightly behind the front line. You do want your Ogren and Zealot to take more aggro, especially from the trash mobs. Like you see there, the Ogren with all the trash mobs, I'm slowly repositioning to get my brittleness stacks, my bleed stacks on the boss. He's got his skull crusher, so 40% brittleness, 16 stacks of bleed, soul blaze, he's got his 80% damage skull crusher. We just murk bosses, and the power sword itself is really good. In terms of other melee weapons that you can take, obviously the knife, dueling sword. Some alternate melees is the chain axe, combat axe, shovel, they all work really well. You kind of want something that can deal with armor independently. Because everything in this build is kind of a generalist, you also need your melee weapon to kind of deal with all situations. And unlike a knife or a dueling sword that relies on mobility to deal with horde, things like the combat axe or the power sword, they just rely on raw damage to get through everything. And yeah, mobility is good, but there's a certain amount of mobility that you need in a team play environment, because you can't really just push through everything. Unless you're doing, again, some like type of speed run, but again, I'm just talking about a team standard environment in your normal games. Anyway, I digress. Again, positioning, staying with the team behind that front line. It's important that, let's say a horde is coming and we're getting flanked by trash mobs. The cycle will turn around to deal with the back flank, to deal with the trash mobs. It's also important that I'm also looking around and having situational awareness, because let's say a Netal or some dogs start coming, I need to get those off of the Psyker so he can deal with the horde as efficiently as possible. Sunder on the power sword's great for situations like this. I can just spare my push attack into those elites and get a lot of that heavy stab damage into multiple of them. With this build I take Serrated Blade, and although yes, bleed isn't good into Carapace, that's really only going to apply to Crushers and Scab Rages, or that cleave that you're doing with Sunder into those mixed hordes. It's going through the Carapace, and it's just a great way to still add damage without completely nullifying the power sword because you hit a random piece of Carapace. You'll see that I'm very greedy with the ammo too. I mates with these guys, we know what the drill is. You also find when you get to a certain level of HAVOC, when everyone wants to play like super meta and optimized and sweaty, Veteran just gets ammo. It's really just that simple. He uses range weapons the best. He's got the best access to dealing with those specials. The range ones is what I'm talking about. So that's why I'm being greedy with it. No one needs to say anything. It's just how it is, and everyone's happy with that. Everyone gets to do their role. We get a double boss spawn, again using the smokes, pushing the gunners, making sure we can get rid of them just to put outside pressure away. We start repositioning back to where we came from. There's no point standing out in the open when we can slightly move, cut off a lot of line of sight, and we get into a position where we can further use our AoE better. You will notice that the res was quite fast there. That's because I was testing revive speed curios on my perks with a different build, but I forgot to change it. But I mean, it came in handy. Power sword's nice and simple. Spam those push attacks. Because the push attacks use stamina as well, even though for the highest DPS, using the 2-attack combo, the stab into the overhead on repeat's going to be the best way to use it. Including that 3rd attack into the chain more often just allows you to have a little bit of breathing room with your stamina if you need to swap to your block. So if you're using the power sword, just play around with it. Doing the poke into overhead over and over will be the most DPS, but sometimes your stamina doesn't allow it. It's always good to have just a little bit of stamina to fall back on just in case you need to block. Our zealots taking aggro for the chaos spawn. We're all friends. We've played a lot with each other. In HAVOC 40 you'll find you see a lot of the same plays. It's a small player base, small player pool, whatever you want to call it. He brings it around into us so we can regroup. We get the bubble to stop range damage. Again, I'm using my smokes to act as a barrier, so ranged enemies can't really shoot in here, or if they do, they'll have to walk into the smokes. We'll see them, we can just kill them in melee. Trying to time as much stagger and intertwine it as much as possible. Again, you'll notice with my positioning, I'm trying to stay to the back. I'll push forward when I have melee, because I don't have like the reload talent. It's important that I use downtime to get those reloads in, assess the situation of how fast the pace is. If things are getting really fast paced, I might want to be slow with my bolt gun so I can drag the efficiency over a longer period. Again, you'll notice what you have to do in different situations. Like not having any ammo in this situation means I'm more reliant on good positioning and smokes to delay range damage so I can position correctly into melee damage, because dealing with melee by itself is pretty easy, dealing with range by itself is pretty easy, but when you have to deal with both and dodge the melee enemies, and then there's like a flamer like this, then you're in a bad position in an open area, and then you're getting chipped by gunners, and then because in HAVOC there's corruption bleed through damage, you've chipped at your toughness. That one hit takes like 40-30% corruption wound off. It all just feeds back into this massive loop, and it really is just stopping that loop from getting as bad as possible, as quick as possible every time. So I took that one hit there, between the bubble, between smokes, between just good positioning, being where I need to be, where it's safe, coming back up to that 100% toughness as quick as possible. It's also another reason why I like confirmed kill. let's say I kill a few specials and elites, I need to reload, I time my dodge badly and I take a hit, rather than having to cancel my reload and pull out my melee to dodge, I can continue with the reload because I don't have to rely on the kill to still stop it bleed through damage, getting that toughness replenishment. I have no idea where this fucking sniper is. I think it was at the top, that's where I saw the flash in hindsight, but I had no idea where it was. Like, as you can see here, even though I'm not killing anything, I'm still getting up to 100% toughness. If I was to take chip damage in that meantime, I'll still also keep replenishing. Yes, the counter argument is that Out for Blood will just replenish you more toughness, but I also feel like Confirmed Kill really teaches you also how to play an effective veteran by making sure you're focusing those specials and elites to get access to your toughness replenishment. The more you're doing what your role is intended to do, it just leads to a smoother gameplay loop. Reconnecting with the team, if you find you ever split into a 2-2 scenario, don't split into a 3-1. It's always just more effective, and I find it's going to be more consistent. Everyone likes to think they're him, but just give that one person support. It's ideal you stay in a 4-man squad, but sometimes, let's say there's a purple captain and a monstrosity next to each other, the captains have a far greater chance of having like the purple modifier. You want to split the captain from the other monstrosities and elites, so they're not healing and overlapping their AoE and all that bullshit. We get a captain and a trapper here. Again, if you don't hit those headshots, you won't get access to the one-shot breakpoint, so that's just the thing with veteran. If you don't hit the headshot, it's going to be a 2-shot on the bolter for the most part on most enemies. Otherwise, it's going to be a 1-shot on the headshot for most of the ranged elites and specials, bar reapers. Smokes are also good into captains when they're in their range state. You can delay their range state or make them, if you get pushed back and then its range state activates, you can then smoke it and it's just going to stand there like a headless chicken and not do anything. Again, it's about stopping that bleed through damage, always being at as high toughness as possible. You control the pacing, you can run up to gunners, shut them down. We're just clearing the next area before we progress. Again, not much to say here, just waiting for the team to catch up. Honestly, that was going to play out differently in my head, but you know, you live and you learn. Turning off those range enemies, sticking with the team, letting the Zealot and the Ogre set pace because they're melee. Psych is getting into good position so he can set up the stagger. Like in that moment there, it doesn't really matter who's at the front, but once the engagement really starts, see how now the Psych is trying to position himself behind everyone. I'll be doing the same thing as veteran. If I want to conserve ammo, I'll obviously get into melee. Another thing that is my opinion as well is, one, you never have to reload on the power sword and it has absurd damage. So you'll have more damage potential in melee, but it will be safer to get access to your damage with the bolt gun depending on your positioning. So just have that in consideration when you're choosing when to shoot, when to melee, what the situation is. Obviously, if you can conserve ammo, conserve it, but obviously don't be too frugal and not use a gun at all. Obviously, like, there's a balance to be found and you'll find that through experience. Would call that there's a demon host, so I use a smoke. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty certain that smokes like reduce like the aggro distance. You can go a little closer to it. I swear I've like walked up to a demon host in a smoke and it just doesn't notice you. As long as you don't trigger the demon host with the initial explosion of stagger and suppression, it'll stay silent and you can get pretty close to it and it'll just chill there. Like I said, the smokes, the conceal buff reduces the aggro distance. You'll also notice I have like the danger zone mod, which shows me like the little circles and stuff on the ground. This video was taken before I went through my mods and cleaned them all up, so I want to do more of a return to like more base gameplay. test stuff with less in-game and use more Darktide. That way I can turn the health bars off. It's just more immersive, you know, I just want to have more fun with the game. I'm just at that point at Darktide where like you don't need to run the meta, you just want to have more fun, use off meta stuff, test and push yourself. That's really all it is. Even though we have the boss here, like I said, a flamer or bomber is definitely a higher priority than a plague-ogre. A couple of grenades can completely shut down like a run, we get split, we're no longer in the barrier, we're no longer in smokes, and then a lot of bad shit happens, you take a lot of chip damage like I do. Because I haven't taken much corruption damage, I decided not to take the Medicaid now. That way if I go down, I can just take a top up later. Foreshadowing, I do go down. I played the start of the map pretty well, and then I guess I just lost focus after a while of gaming. You just fucking shit the bed for fucking a couple of minutes, and you just need to regain your focus, and you just play like shit for a couple of minutes. Nothing's changing though. I'm trying to find a balance. You'll see with my positioning, I'm always trying to find a balance, kind of staying as that anchor in the team, pinning myself in the middle between the back line and the front line, trying to spread that survivalist, all those good auras. It's also important for demo team that I am optimizing my coherency with other players, because when they kill stuff, it's going to activate demo stockpile for me. You'll also again notice how good grenades are for objectives. There wasn't even a bubble at me, but I don't have to worry about any range pressure. Because they last so long, they have a high ammo or grenade economy. I honestly just think they're really underrated in HAVOC. I don't think gunners and ranged enemies are really dangerous enough in Auric and below to really warrant it. Like if you're going from like an optimization or meta perspective. But I do think in HAVOC, at the moment, smokes are the best grenade for veteran. I go down a single flamer, we split up, I'm out of smokes, I don't get the conceal buff, I just get domed by the shooters. You see how easy it is for stuff to go bad. I see the Psycho go down, I immediately try to get there, I don't make it in time. I don't think I could have got there. The only thing I could have done is pulled out my grenades to run slightly faster. Maybe that would have done it. But I go down, once we get the reset, I'll go for a heal. You'll also see me put smokes onto the res pot. Again, smokes are about lowering pressure for the team. The team doesn't have to act as hasty or as panicked. As you can see, that flame is literally just walking past us. That's a perfect example of what smokes are doing. Like, you literally break the AI. Well, I mean, it's intended. This is what smokes are meant to do, but for the sake of clarity or just ease of access, ease of fucking telling you, it breaks the AI. Just because I'm retarded and I can't fucking speak. It breaks the AI, they don't shoot at you. And again, I'm about to top up with my grenade stockpile. If I hit any elites and get lucky with demo team, you more or less have smokes all the time, especially if you use and position them well and there's not overlap in them. Using them either on top of bubbles or in front of a bubble to act as a secondary barrier. So as they push into the smokes, you then push from the barrier and it's like a secondary layer of defense. Relying on that melee, even though I have a lot of ammo, I don't see the reason to use the bolt gun right now. I take some chip damage, so then I go into my safe damage, which is the bolt gun, fall back behind the melee. Again, you see I do it again, I take a hit, I do an immediate dodge back, take a moment to get the replenishment through the shield. If you don't have a shield, obviously you're going to have to go for a kill or whip out and one tap or kill a specialist or elite to get your confirmed kill. Get your block out, get your push out, but get your toughness back to 100% so you don't take that bleed through damage. If you don't know how the shields work as well, Reginald just did a really good, I guess, introduction or explanation of it in his Arbiter video. it doesn't block all damage. Against range damage, it will always block 100% of it until it reaches 0. But, and I go, see what I mean? I just lost focus, I'm not playing well, it is what it is, I'm only human. But into melee, think of it as like a damage reduction. If I have 50% toughness, that next attack is going to be split between 50% of my toughness and 50% of my health. So if I'm constantly at 100% toughness, before the next hit, I'm not going to take bleed through damage. Then you think about when you amplify that with golden toughness and shout, you cannot take bleed through damage, period. So for the instance of a pox burster, let's say I get hit, I lose my toughness, I can then shout, I get hit by another one, I kill a couple of specialists, we're in a bubble, within a second or two I'm back at 100% yellow toughness. Or even if I'm at a single point of yellow toughness and get hit by another pox burster, there will still be no bleed through damage. That's why yellow toughness is so powerful, and having access to like constant replenishment. I mean, obviously, if you're at 100% toughness, you're not taking damage, but for the way the shield works, specifically toughness, I mean, it's important to know that. That's another reason why I like confirm kill. It's just always passively giving me that replenishment with catch a breath. I just find it's very safe and easy. Like, it's simply just, it's safe and easy. Nothing more to say in that regard. We're getting to the next area. I think it's good that we slightly up the pace. Someone pings a demon host, so I know to throw a smoke. I think it's good for us to up the pace, because what you can actually do in this area is you can kind of just speedrun it if your team's on like the same pace. If it gets too shit, just run to the elevator, because what's going to happen is the enemies will take time to travel into the next area. You can go for reses, you can regroup, get some heals there. There's no need for it here, we can just kind of keep walking forward. I hear the chaos spawn trigger, or I see it or I hear it, whatever fucking one. So rather than waiting where we are and risking the demon host getting triggered, I try to run forward quickly and pull it in the other direction. I'm pretty sure my teammates understood what I was trying to do and they immediately joined me. Just get past the demon host, don't fight near it, get past it. Another thing that you can do, if you're in a situation like this where there's like a flamer on the floor, if there's something near you, like an unopened crate, you can vault on top of it and it adds like an extra layer. It's like there's high ground, low ground kind of bullshit going on. And you can stop yourself from taking flame damage, so keep that into consideration here. There is a good argument to be made to deploy the heal crate, or we could keep it for the next area. No one pings that they want healing, so I decide to keep it and go slightly greedier. Keep moving forward, setting that pace. See, as I throw the smokes onto the ranged enemies, they're all moving forward. We can now engage them in melee, but I'm just using my bolt gun because it's fun. But I should walk into melee with my power sword. It will be far more DPS than these bolt gun shots here. It's, you know, using the weapon for what it's meant for. The power sword has arguably the most access to damage, consistent damage in my opinion. It's not relying on ammo, blah blah blah. But your ranged weapon's going to be safe damage. I love that fucking crate, by the way. It always fucks me up. Why do you do that, Fatshark? Like, just move whatever that little bit of snow is there so it can pick up the fucking shit. That's a bad smoke. It should be on top or slightly bit more forward, I think. That smoke will come to bite me in the arse in a moment. So as I kill that stuff, here I should have noticed the smoke is behind the gunners. I overthrew that second smoke to shut them down, and that's really all it is. If I placed my smoke properly here, I wouldn't have went down, we would have cleaned all of this, but you saw the purpose of how we're going to use smokes. So now I'm using another smoke to connect it all to get like that proper area of coverage that I'm looking for. It's just, again, more practice. Don't be shit like me, using your smokes to cover as much area as possible. Get used to that AoE, get like a visual representation with Psychanium. Using cover to position myself, just making sure I'm not taking random bleed through damage. If a random pox burster comes, I can dodge slide through the railing and kind of like block line of sight from the explosion. Nice and easy, kill the boss. Again, like I said, from that last event to kind of now, I kind of like just completely lost focus, played like shit, went down a lot. It is what it is. I don't want to cut it out and give you a dishonest experience. Even when I do cut stuff, I'll leave my deaths and downs in there. But I mean, just don't be shit like me. It's as simple as that, guys. I mean, what do you want me to say? Fucking hell. So we get to the elevator here. We're going to the next area. Here I should deploy the heal crate. I should take a Medicaid charge because I find saving the Medicaid crate till the last area isn't worth it because it's such a short extraction time anyway, and then it will preserve the Medicaid for later on to heal wounds. I do end up deploying it, but I mean, yeah, it was just too late. I think I should have deployed that from the start of the elevator. That was definitely the right call. So hindsight 2020, baby. I do this not only to critique myself and help you guys, but so I can learn. That is the good thing I've learned about editing, because I watch a lot more of my own games now. I always did it out of curiosity to see like where I can optimize just because I enjoy that, but now that I do it more often for a purpose, it's like gives me another opportunity to really dissect my own gameplay. Another thing, if you're on now, Ogren I think is the best capsule carrier, but I just lean myself into doing objectives, doing the reses. I find I'm not someone who needs to top DPS charts to know that I had an impact and I did my job, I did well. So I would rather just put the onus of being like the objective person on myself. It lets other people have fun. I have fun knowing that I did my fucking job. You know what I mean? Let's say it's Valorant or Counter-Strike, for example. I would rather be the guy that went 15 kills, 10 deaths, and 15 assists than 20 kills, 5 deaths, and no assists. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of mentality really suits Veteran. But you should have the other mentality for playing something like Psyker. You know, you know what I mean? It's just a different mindset that it suits. I think suits different classes. When the fuck did I get that second Medicaid? Oh, that's right, I picked it up from the crate at the bottom. I did that specifically to save the Psycho. I know that we still have Medicaid stacks, so rather than take the chance of him going down, I determined in that moment it's worth it to save specifically the Psycho so we can regroup at the next objectives. Our teammates did a good job of dealing with the chaos or the boss, while the Psyker and I were dealing with the capsule. Another reason why yellow toughness is great, you saw right there, you can tank a sniper shot because you don't take any bleed through damage. Excuse me, I need a cough. I haven't fully recovered yet, but I'm trying my best. And then again, it's just that safety loop. I know I can tank that sniper shot, so with the melee stuff, rather than fucking up their aim or taking the chance, I decide to take the sniper shot to guarantee I'm going to hit that shot. I'm going to get the replenishment back on a confirmed kill, you know, happy days. Trying to be that anchor. Objective is important, so if I'm going to position with anyone, it's going to be with the objective. You'll notice it gets very chaotic, like this doesn't look clean, we're not working together as a team, but again, remember that we play together a lot, we just run into each other, we're all on each other's friends list. We know each other's potential, we know not only each other's but our own potential, and even though it's very chaotic, it's just like we understand, alright, we've spent too much time here, let's regroup. Alright, we've taken too much damage now, let's regroup, let's have less fun, if that makes sense. But again, I just find myself, while they get to have fun and do damage, I just do objectives. Veteran's really good for it. If I need to push enemies, I can shout. Something I want to talk about as well, if you're on capsule duty, like I was mentioning before, remember that you can push. So sprint sliding is going to be the fastest way to do it, but if you need to get through enemies, especially if it's only trash mobs, spam your pushes while an ally is behind you hitting and killing them, Hopefully they can clear a path. Once you get a path open, that's when you go to your sprint slides. But once you get into this elevator, this place is not really hard. The mission's more or less over. It's just kind of doing it as quick as possible. And you know, depending on the capabilities of your team, you will get a feel for how much you can spend in and out of coherency playing as a 2-man squad or 4-man squad. Obviously doing 2 things at the same time, like dealing with a boss and doing the capsule, is going to be faster but higher risk. Again, these are just some fucking great players. Always love playing with these guys, they know that. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next video. I hope you learned something or two. I kind of just ramble, but I hope you learned something. Catch you in the next video. God bless 07. If you haven't, check out the Discord. Catch you in the next video.